How did the show go? I haven't had a bagel show since the year of our Lord of 2008, my first year of doing art shows. Now, a bagel show, what does that mean? It's where the gross sales figure is in the shape of a bagel, so known as a zero. So what happened in 2008? That was a one-day show in the town of Weatherford, Oklahoma. They had planned to have it in a park. They always have that show in a park. I don't know if they still have it, but I was told about it by a friend of mine at the time who was bragging that he did the show and he once made $7,000 in one day at that show. And so excited little me hurried up and applied for it. I found out, oh, how do I apply for the Weatherford show? Let me hurry up and get in there. On the run up to this show, the final week before the show was supposed to happen, it became apparent that the weather in Weatherford was going to turn nasty. It's going to take place on a Saturday and it's going to rain all day. So instead of canceling, I mean, think of it from the show's point of view. They've spent months putting together this show. Now it's going to rain. What's going to happen? What's water going to do to the grass and the sidewalk and the trees and all this? All day, people have their tents set up. They're just going to be rained out and then they're going to go home. We can't have that. That's nasty. So they want to press on and they're looking for a new location. And the only location that they could find was, and on short notice, was a cattle barn on the edge of town. So I get the notice a day before the show. Yeah, it's not going to be in the park. It's going to be over here now. So I pull up over there in the muddy grass, up next to the building, a whole bunch of other vans and stuff. People are unloading, carrying stuff in. Before we could really get started, volunteers were scrambling to cover the ground, inside and outside, with dry hay and grass to make the place walkable, really. But it was no match for the pungent smell. That was not going away anytime soon. So looking back, I should have canceled and not wasted my time and just taken the loss and just say, hey, I'm sorry, I'm done. But that was my first year of doing shows. I was so green at the time. Oh, if he can make $7,000, what can I do? So I get what I get with that one. What happened at La Quinta? Okay. La Quinta, California is not Weatherford, Oklahoma. The only real commonality between the two is that they're both towns with people in them. And the show is very well managed. It's mammothly professional. Great communication on the month leading up to it. I mean, I've never received so many pertinent emails from an event on the run up to it. What am I getting myself into? They are a chatty bunch. My God, they want to cover all the races. They offer a very well-built website where we create an account with them and we can manage every detail about our experience at the event, from our reservations for free lunch. Yes, they give us a free lunch and give us a list of what do you want for lunch on Thursday? What do you want for lunch on Friday? Stuff like that. Then we can hire volunteers during setup and teardown. There's a schedule, like every 30 minutes, you can hire somebody to come by with a little flatbed gator to help you set up. And then on the days of taking it down, they'll help you shuttle it back and forth and carry it. And then you can set up a visual promotion on their site. All you have to do is upload a picture of yourself, a bio, and samples of your work. I didn't get around to doing that. So if you go on this website and you go to look for me, I'm not on there. I didn't get around to it. And there's likely a whole bunch of other details that are not coming to me at the moment. Now, even the check-in process, day of, which is the day before, or actually 2 days before the show starts, usually at most shows, usually it involves coming up to a tent, which is probably either a 10 by 10 or a 10 by 20, has a folding table, a couple people behind the desk. They got a box of envelopes. And they're like, hi, how are you? Who are you? Oh, you're this person? Here you go. Here's your envelope. That's it. Now, at this show, we didn't have that. We walked into one of their convention center buildings. And in one of the auditorium type rooms, they have a line of 6 or 7 people who had different roles about the show. They wanted to make sure we knew everything. One person would explain the parking situation. One person would give us info on who to talk to if we have questions. Another one informed us on how to use their point of sale app. Yes, they have a point of sale app that we have to install on our phone in order to take sales. When somebody buys from us, we use their app. We don't use Square. That's how they take 20% off the top of our sales. Yes, they take commission. And it was definitely a lot more involved than what I'm accustomed to. This is a bigger show. Also during setup, we found out this is a very windy area. I mean, if you look up La Quinta, California on a map, there's mountains on one side and then there's desert on the other side. So when the wind blows, it comes from the desert and just, it'll blast shit out of you. And they had a disaster last year where they lost about 1/3 of the tents. They got blown into the pond and stuff like that. And there was art. It was a disaster. It wasn't pretty. So they require everyone to bring sticks of rebar, about 3 or 4 feet long, to be staked down next to each one of the legs of your tent, and then clamp your tent legs to that rebar, so in the hope that your tent doesn't get blown away. Now, I do shows in Oklahoma predominantly, and I think my local shows would definitely benefit from that idea. It's a good one. They were very meticulous in setting up the park too. When we're setting up our tent, for those of us who paid for electricity, usually they run just an extension cord from a generator across the campus, so to speak, or across the park. They run an extension cord over to our tent and just leave it on the ground. No, they buried it. That was amazing. They had a team of people out there with shovels, and they were making a line in the ground and burying the thing, and then folding the grass back over so you can't see a bunch of extension cords strewn about. It was my God, I liked being there. And also, another note about the size and scale of some of the fellow artists who were at this show. And this is also, from my point of view, what am I seeing by stepping out of my comfort zone and coming to this show? Well, I'm accustomed to seeing artists with a range of booth sizes, meaning we have single booths, 10 by 10, double booths, which are 10 by 20, and then some booths that approach, say, 10 or 12 feet tall. This is the first show where I've seen artists that have booths that take up 5 10 by 10 booths. That was fascinating to me. So if you or someone you know and love has an enormous display that can expand past a double booth, this show will have space for you. So, okay, first day was Thursday. Now, I don't really expect to sell much on the first day of a show, especially on a Thursday. So Thursday was out. Now, we had ingredients for sales on Friday. We had enough word going around the city that this event is going on. This art show had valet parking. The city's got some money, all right? It was sunny, the weather was fine. Sales didn't materialize. Saturday. What happened Saturday? Well, the last half of Friday was overrun with everybody scrambling on their phone going, well, what's going to happen tomorrow? It's supposed to rain. It's supposed to rain? What's this? Rain? Turns out, when it rains in La Quinta, California, they panic. Or they go into denial first. Oh, the prediction, it's going to stay up in the mountains. It's not going to hit us. Don't worry about that. We're going to have our show, and it's going to be great. Well, we were just doing our usual, and closed up our tents Friday night, went back to wherever we're staying. I stayed at an RV park, camped out in my van, and then you get up the next morning, make yourself a cup of coffee, drive into the show, pull up. As soon as I pull up in front of the show, yes, it's pouring rain, that's when I get my phone out. Oh, look, it canceled. They just straight up said, oh yeah, we're not going to have a show today. They canceled because of rain. They couldn't move it because we're already set up. Now, I don't want to project my usual experience because I was initially confused. I mean, I've done shows in the rain before. What you do is you sit in the back of your tent, you kind of open up the front of it a little bit, and you kind of wave at people who walk by with their umbrella. Hey, come on in, I got some artwork, you want to buy some? But according to locals that I chatted with, they said this was very unusual for this part of the state. When it rains this much, nobody goes outside. They reacted the same as if, say, someone in Oklahoma got a foot of snow. I mean, if we got a foot of snow here, we ain't leaving the house. Not for like 2 days. Now, even on the sunny days, like Sunday, the final day of the show, attendance was really, really low. I mean, we were expecting hand over fist crowds. This is kind of what we were promised from rumors from other artists who have done the show. And even from some of the judges and show promoters. It's like, this is going to be a very big show. Well, there were large swaths of time where the only people on the sidewalks were fellow artists looking around, waiting for a crush of customers that never showed up. So myself and several of my immediate booth neighbors, we all went home with all of the artwork that we brought. Now, several friends that I chatted with who were at the show, they did well. One of my booth neighbors, they were moving stuff. They sold glass sculptures, and I saw them move 4 of them. Yeah, that happens. So I'm processing what I can do differently. There were a couple problems. Rookie mistake on my part, I only brought one size of image. I was aiming for a gallery appearance. I was going to switch things up at this show. I wasn't going to bring my usual tent, which is a mishmash of like all of these things. I'm going to show you consistent sizes of all of my work. I'm going to make it look like a gallery. It looked nice. It looked almost too nice. And it didn't seem to resonate. 2, they have a rule in there that says, 80% of your booth must be original art, and no more than 20% can be reproductions or duplicates. There's a gray area when it comes to photographers. What's an original piece in photography? What's a duplicate? They're all duplicates. There is no original. There is no master copy and then other copies. They're mainly talking, when they make up a rule like this, they're mainly talking about painters. Because painters, they have the original painting, the one with all the paint on it. And then they have duplicates, which are when somebody makes what's called a giclée. They took it to a professional, and somebody took a picture of their painting, and now they're making prints of the photo of the painting. So about photographers, it's kind of a gray area. But I let somebody talk me out of bringing my prints. Usually I bring 5 print bins, and these are little jobs. These are 11 by 14s. I usually have about 250 of these in stock, and a lot of them are this picture. I didn't have any at this show. I just had 11 pictures on the wall at 3 feet tall, 2 feet by 3 feet. Didn't sell a stinking one of them. But when I bring my prints, usually about half of my sales are prints, because people have $40. They don't usually have $850. Well, I was hedging my bets that, oh, this is a rich neighborhood. They're gonna drop $850 on this. So I walked the show. I was kicking myself almost immediately because one artist after another had print bins. I'm like, well, why the okay. Overall, though, I'm glad I did the show. I feel good having direct experience with a large national show. The only other national show I've ever done is Oklahoma City. Every other show that I do is what's called a regional show, which is a state show, which is mainly in the state of Oklahoma, or a local show in a neighboring state, like Kansas, Colorado even. And this is important for me to have that direct experience. The national shows, they offer a larger crowd, potentially a more wealthy crowd, and consider this as a way that artists upgrade themselves. It's kind of like akin to getting a promotion. Like, you've promoted yourself from doing regional shows to now national shows. And also I reflect fondly, I enjoyed meeting a couple of new artists, a handful of new artists, my immediate neighbors and so on, and a couple of guys at the reception for the show. We were cutting up and being silly, and that was good fun. Now we follow each other on Instagram. And then catching up with a couple of artists that I've known over the years already, and just wanted to see how they're doing and that sort of thing. It's kind of like a small family reunion when you go out and do these things. So long and short, if I'm invited next year, I feel confident that I have a better plan moving forward. Thanks.